the fun part of that is the fact that we were able to build something and it took about 6 minutes to get it up and running based on the fact that we had good context, right? So essentially based on our conversation, we were able to plug the transcript into AtlusAI and build out an entire system purely with one prompt, essentially. The primary goal based on our conversation was to build a system that, could just find out what's trending in markets based on specific topics in an automated fashion, right? So a lot of time and effort goes into finding, what information is where and whether or not touching on a certain topic is worthwhile. And after having plugged our transcript, and a few guidelines, a few Lumenalta guidelines into AtlusAI, essentially in one prompt, we were able to build a little AI topic generator or topic researcher, essentially. Allows you to track or build new campaigns based on any topic. The cool thing is that it, right now, based on what we spoke about, pulls a few subreddits. You can do Reddit search queries, RSS feeds, HackerNews keywords, and trigger everything. So like, for instance, if we were to do something on like OpenClaw, researchers OpenClaw. So the nice thing is you can choose frequency. I mean, it can run every 3 days, every 7 days, etc. And what it does is it tracks trending of specific topics. It'll read 1 million sources and then obviously generate topics and pick the top 5 of which it'll start monitoring. So we don't need any of these right now. I don't really know any subreddits related to OpenClaw, but for instance, Reddit search queries. I don't know any RSS feeds. I do know, we can just literally do productivity hacks and OpenClaw when it comes to this. Let's actually make it AI productivity hacks. Now, obviously, the amount of data it's going to be pulling here is minimal because we don't have RSS feeds and subreddits. But essentially, it creates a little campaign for you and starts running through signals, essentially like collecting a whole bunch of data. Once it's collected all the data, it'll generate themes and then topics that are, worthwhile touching on. The nice thing though is if you're, for instance, publishing once or twice a week or once a week or once every 2 weeks, even if you're doing twice a week and you're running 3 days, you can see the trendingness of that topic. So you can build up a backlog of exactly what's busy trending when it comes to certain topics. It'll give you ratings as to, the viability of each topic. I'll bring up, once it's finished generating, etc., you'll see there's a whole bunch that gets run through. Okay, so what it does is it extracts a whole bunch of themes based on the data that it's got. So it found 153 articles, 50 on Reddit, and 103 on HackerNews. Analyzed all of those, pulled out the 6 top topics, 6 top themes around those specific signals, and then it'll go ahead and finish generating topics and selecting which ones are actually worthwhile tracking. Just does take a minute or two. Actually, it doesn't take a minute, probably like 40 seconds. For instance, so like this is an AI initiatives one. You can see plugged into 600. Well, this is plugged into everything. So like Reddit, subreddits, HackerNews, and a bunch of RSS feeds. And we get 600 signals, generates, picks your 6 themes. And then based on those, it's like, hey, okay, cool. These are the most relevant topics to our current business and, what we find interesting. And then, literally monitors it over every single run. So we can see, quality concerns. It went down a little over the past day or so. It's back up to being a thing that people are speaking about. Yeah, so that essentially saves us, from a man-hour's point of view, an absolute ton of time. Well, it's essentially just monitoring news. So you could extend it to monitor everything, right? Like into making TikToks, for instance, or selling products on a marketplace, you could extend it to monitor the popularity of certain products and monitor that from a trend perspective. Yes, you could use like Google Trends to do that, but this seems to be more accurate from a data source point of view. So Google Trends, obviously, all Google searches run everywhere. This is like more precise as to like, okay, cool. Within these specific industries or these specific networks, I'd like to see the popularity because you know your potential markets there. So definitely could get extended to be used deeper in future. And I think the thing is, it's not necessarily the tool we built that's interesting. Yes, it's an interesting tool, but the primary display of this tool is the fact that we were able to build something and it took about 6 minutes to get it up and running based on the fact that we had good context, right? So with that context and a good set of guidelines that we've got internally pumped into an engine, you know, all I did was connect to an MCP to our Atlas server. Boom, 5 minutes later, I've got something that, you know, it's saved our marketing team like a bunch of time, right? And if you do that consistently across an organization of 1,000 people, it can easily add up to thousands of hours a month, right? Beautiful.